Did I ever tell you I almost died in this pond, Mom? Huh? Did I ever tell you I almost died in this pond? My 23-year-old son, Eddie, asked me that as we were taking a walk around the pond in the woods near my home. I vowed not to lose my mind as he told me his story, because when the kids finally grow up, move out of the house, and they are on their own, you don't want to screw up special alone time with them by being judgmental. Especially about things that are literally water under the bridge from a decade earlier. Eddie continued his story. He told me that when he was 13, I gave him and his little sister permission to take a walk in the woods. It was one of those beautiful, sunny, icy cold winter days, and I must have thought, good for them, go out and get some fresh air. As it turns out, during the walk, Eddie convinced his little sister that it would be fun if the two of them walked across the iced-over pond. I didn't know that on that day, Eddie fell through the ice, managed to stay calm and lift himself out, talk his little sister onto her belly, and somehow get out safely. I didn't know that he walked home soaked and shivering from the cold. I didn't know that he slipped back into the house, changed his clothes, did his own laundry at 13, washing away the incriminating evidence. I didn't know, and I still don't know, how he bribed his little sister to keep the whole thing secret, but somehow he did. As Eddie told me the story, I could feel myself getting furious about the incident a good 10 years after the fact, when he was right in front of me, alive and well, telling me the story. I managed to hold it in check, but what I could not get out of my head was I that bad a mother? Didn't you know the ice could break? I asked him calmly. Didn't we discuss over and over when you were little that you should never walk on a frozen pond? Of course I knew the ice could break, he answered earnestly. Of course I knew I shouldn't do it. Of course I knew I could die, but I figured I probably wouldn't, and it would be really, really cool. He continued, and that's precisely what made it so attractive, Mom. After all these years of being a parent, don't you understand the mindset of the teenage boy? Which is, I asked. Teenage boys do things they know are dangerous because they could die doing them. And if they don't die doing them, now that's the thrill. I could spend all afternoon telling you about the stupid shit I did as a kid, he replied. And then he did. I didn't know that Eddie almost got eaten by a crocodile when he wandered off on a family safari in Kenya. I didn't know that Eddie and his friends grabbed at electric fences just to see how long they could hold on. I didn't know that Eddie ran across camel pens in Israel. I didn't know he played a game with his friends right here in Newton called First One to Drop the Lit Match Loses. I didn't know that he skied down closed trails, or that he also enjoyed playing a game with his best friend Nick called See How Close You Can Come to Hitting the Other Person in the Face with a Drumstick. I didn't know that Eddie almost burned his face off with a large linen-scented Yankee candle. But I remember that candle. Eddie reminded me that just about all boys are little pyromaniacs. What were Nick and I supposed to do? He asked me. You left us alone for an hour with a big glass, delicious-smelling candle, and there was a can of lighter fluid outside by the grill. Eddie laughed as he recalled just how exciting it was, like it was yesterday. When the flame got really high and we poured water over it, the glass just shattered and exploded all over the room, like napalm. When he was done telling stories, and I am pretty sure I have not heard them all, I asked him what made him such a big risk-taker in those years. He looked at me like I had two heads. I wasn't a big risk-taker, he informed me. Not at all, at least not compared to all the other boys I knew. I was kind of a wuss. He rattled off a list of things that he was way too sensible to do. Games like, how long can you keep your eyes shut on the highway? Or, how long can you tolerate a magnifying glass beam on your hand? Fun games like those that other teenage boys he knew played. You may not believe me after all these stories, but Eddie is not mentally challenged. He went to a fine college, holds a wonderful, steady job, and has been off the payroll for years. He's here today with his girlfriend. She threatened to wear a t-shirt that said, "I'm with stupid." My point here is that I don't think my son is special. At least not in any way that you can rest easy about yours. Eddie was the happiest teenager I ever met. He didn't sulk, he didn't shut the door of his room, and when I picked him up at school every day and asked him how his day was, the answer was just about always, awesome. He was always open and honest, or so I thought. The fact is that no matter how in tune with our kids we think we are, we don't know everything, they don't always listen to their mothers, and sometimes we are downright clueless. I offer no solution for mothers of boys. I suggest just praying for luck. And it wouldn't hurt to hide the lighter fluid. Thank you.